We are back here at Knoxville, Iowa. We'll restart them in just a moment for the 50th Goodyear Knoxville Nationals presented by Lucas Oil. Joey Saldana unfortunately lost a power plant, had to pull off. That brought out a caution flag. Sammy Swindell with the number 1 car out front will get them restarted, and Brian Brown hanging right in there in second place. Schatz takes a look down there on the bottom. Sammy with a good run. Here comes Schatz to 15.
Boy, again, I talked about earlier, Ken, if you can get off at turn 2, that's a good sign here at Knoxville, and Schatz makes it happen as he goes by Brian Brown.
And Tim Schaefer in the 83 there, who has earned 5 consecutive wins in 7 days as of late. And Steve Kinzer drives around the outside of him like he's sitting still.
Yeah, Schaefer got the left front. Oh, battle up front here. Shots to the inside, but can't make it stick. Look at that, sliding across the racetrack like that. Sammy Swindell pulls away from him.
Sammy sticking with that high groove right now, that high line. And you talked about that cushion a lot earlier in the show. Now it has pushed up a fair amount. Here comes Schaefer coming right back at Kinzer.
See if he slides across. It's kind of the same thing there. If you slide the car across the racetrack, not only you heat the tires up, but you lose ground because you're sliding up across the racetrack.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. How many times can you do that before you blister that right rear?
Well, you do have to be careful. They know it's 50 long laps, but they do know there's going to be a pit stop here at some point. Now, the officials told them on their receiver radios what lap it's going to be. Leading up to the race, they didn't know that, so there was no strategy. But again, they still have to be careful because they want to be competitive right up to that stoppage. And here Schaefer tries him again on the inside.
Yeah, and Schaefer definitely finding some grip down there in that gutter red line. Oh, man, right up beside Kinzer. Kinzer never even bobbles. He says, come on with it. Great racing out here in this A main. Unfortunately for Joey Saldana, things laid up short. Tony Bachhoven standing with him.
Well, Joey Saldana's had a bit of a tough night. Some smoke early on. Now you got this hole in the oil pan, Joey. Just an engine failure?
Yeah, I mean, Speedway engines build this great Mopar engines, and we were leading the race at Lakeside, and we broke a rod, and we just broke one tonight. And that usually never happens, so just it's the way our week's been.
It has been a tough week for him as we watch these guys battle here for 7th. Greg Hodnett and Shane Stewart. Shane Stewart to 57, Rockstar Energy back machine.
Yeah, Stewart started 8th, so he's kind of maintaining right there, but it's been a good battle between those two guys.
Stewart, who won the 360 Nationals just a little bit ago, earlier a week ago. Great onboard shot right there.
See how hard these guys work when he's flailing on that steering wheel back and forth.
Oh, big puff of smoke right there.
We saw smoke out of Pittman earlier, but when he bounced the car there, it really shot it out of the overflow right on the headers.
Back up to Sammy Swindell, who picked up a win Thursday night in his preliminary race in the A main. So a solid effort here. Also won the heat race as well this week. So he is definitely on the ball. Quick little vortex off the wing there. Look at the Pittman Madsen Heskin battle for 9th.
On board with Darren Pittman. See Madsen is inside there, slide up across the racetrack.
Back to Darren Pittman right there, out of Oklahoma.
Davey Heskin in the 56, a good run for him, started 16th. A young local driver, oh boy, that's about as close as you can get without making contact. Heskin is 4th in his preliminary, so he's having a good weekend, Ken.
Yeah, and he actually beat Madsen on Wednesday night in that preliminary by about 3 spots, and I have to think that that plays into the confidence of a driver knowing that he beat him earlier in the week.
Oh, absolutely. When you can be confident as a driver, it really helps you. The whole team, everybody, when their confidence is up, it shows out on the racetrack.
Well, showing right here as he is slowly but surely picking up the spot, and it looks like that bottom is still working well. Sammy Swindell up on the top, though, much like he did at the Chili Bowl when his car was all but unstoppable. Very, very fast the last 2 years, picking up his 5th Chili Bowl win 2 years ago. But Schatz is looking at the back bumper right now, and don't count him out. Man, he definitely has the magic here.
Well, what I noticed there was Schatz running the bottom of the racetrack, and that's where he seems to always be fast. Steve Kinzer now on the bottom, also down in turns 1 and 2.
Kinzer making it look nice and easy. I mean, he went right down through the center of the turn on the exit and got in that grip down on the bottom. That's kind of a different move.
Anytime, again, back to turns 2, it's so narrow back there. If you can really get bite and get forward bite up off that corner. Now Sammy goes to the bottom of 3 and 4. Oh, and you see Donnie Schatz, his car looks tight, really tight there as it's laying on the right rear, and the car was pushing on him.
Well, I think Donnie was trying to stay out of that lapper as well, up there where he really didn't want to be. Schatz now making a run at it. Look at him lift the front end of that car up. side by side. This is for the lead.
Sammy on the top, Schatz on the bottom. Who's going to beat him at the flag stand here? Oh! Sammy saw him turn left, took the line away as they went into turn 1.
And Sammy turned left. Yeah, absolutely, man. Right across the front bumper. What a heat of battle here for the lead. Sammy Swindell trying to hang on through the center of the turn. Schatz taking a look, and we're hearing the caution flag will come out. It does so. This is the mandatory caution right in the middle of that heated battle. Swindell has to be thinking, perfect timing, guys.
Well, it really is for him. This gives everybody a chance, the drivers a chance to breathe. Again, we talked about it. The crews can do anything they want. Look at the crowd going crazy.
Everybody on their feet loving this. So the first 25 of 50 laps in the books here at this historic event. Sammy Swindell leading the way. Schatz certainly has sent him a message that he is here to play ball. Pit stops with sprint cars when we come back. It's a very rare thing. We're back here in Knoxville, Iowa for the 50th Goodyear Knoxville Nationals presented by Lucas Oil. It is time for the mandatory fuel stop. Sammy Swindell pulling into his stop. They will actually hear an air horn, and then the crews will have 5 minutes to do whatever they want to do to these cars.
You see all the crew members back there. They got them all held. Everybody gets in, gets stopped. Now they turn them loose. The time starts now.
And, of course, all of our guys are down there covering all the action, so we'll check in with all three of our pit reporters. The first one up will be Rob Klepper as we take a look at all the different items that they're going to take a look at on these cars. Obviously, tires will be changed, but possibly gears, suspension. Let's check in with Rob and find out.
And guys, back here in the hot pits, a lot of action, as you can imagine, here in this year's Knoxville National. Steve Kinzer currently running third, the Bass Pro Tony Stewart Racing number 11. Talking things over with his crew chief, Scott Gherkin. Gherkin says the plan is pretty simple. Put two brand new Goodyears on the rear, top it off with fuel. If Steve wants to make a change, we'll make it. He doesn't think he will, because right now the car is very good. He continues to talk things over with Scott Gherkin. They're going to put two brand new Goodyears on again, top this thing off with fuel, and Steve Kinzer's going to go after his 13th career Knoxville Nationals A-main win.
All right, Tony Bachhoven is down next to Sammy Swindell, who's led this race so far.
Well, guys, right now tires are being changed on Sammy Swindell's car. The right rear tire starting to show some blisters on the inside of the treads. The left rear tire not so bad. They're adding fuel. Crew still talking to Sammy about the changes they want to make on the big game car number 1S.
Well, it's a lot of pressure on the crew, but a lot of pressure on the driver to make sure he gives that crew the right information of what that race car is doing. Let's send it over to Dave, who's with Donnie Schatz.
Donnie, under the stop here, what are you going to tell your guys to do to your race car?
Find out after the race on that one. We're just trying to get a little better. I'm pretty decent right now. It kind of stinks. We just got to Sammy. I thought we was going to get it on him, and then the yellow comes out for the pit stop. So you're going to have that with the 50-lap race. So car's great. Guys have done a great job. We're a little bit free in some spots. We're a little bit snug in others, but Rick will put the magic touch on it, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
He's smiling. A lot of confidence here, Donnie Schatz. Meanwhile, the crew continues to service the race car. Tires change. Fuel is in the car, about the 4th jug right there. A few last-minute changes. Going to put some more tear-offs on that helmet, and he is going to be good to go, and definitely has proven to be he's a contender here tonight.
Good job, Dave, and the rest of the guys covering all the action. Let's talk about what he means when he says the car's a little free, the car's a little snug.
When he means free, means the back of the car is sliding out too much. When it means snug, means the back end's sticking and the front end wants to take a push on him.
And oddly enough, it can be different things at either end of the track. Well, let's get back down to Tony, who's with Sammy Swindell.
Sammy, the car was really good early on. Donnie started to run you down there right before the caution. What kind of changes do you think you need to make to the car for the second half of the race?
We're not making too many, just a couple little adjustments. So just started getting into traffic, and that's really what slowed me down. You know, I tried to slide the one car, and I was too early, so I think that's what let him catch me up.
By the way, that yellow device that you see them taping on there is the race receiver. That's how Sammy stays in touch with race control.
You know what it strikes me there, Ken, is how laid back Sammy is. He usually is anyway, but I talked to him earlier today, as I said in the open the show. He wasn't nervous about being on the front row. He looks pretty calm right now.
Well, let's get back down to Rob, who's with Steve Kinzer.
Guys, Steve Kinzer sitting here in the hot pit. Steve, obviously pretty crazy Knoxville Nationals. What did you and Scott talk about?
Oh, just try to think we need to make any changes or not. Really don't know what to do, so we're just going to run her and see what happens.
Well, our guys keep asking the questions, but they're not getting any specific answers.
Yeah, they might be holding some things back, but also, Steve Kinder, sometimes you're just not sure and you're worried about making the wrong changes and dialing yourself right out.
Yeah, these are small changes as well. Let's get down to Dave.
Tim Schaefer, a little hot and stuffy in here. What do you tell your guys do to your race car?
I don't do nothing much but put new tires and fuel in it. We got a pretty good race car. If we can get a couple breaks and sneak up right, we got a pretty good car. I just hope we can do it.
Is the track difficult to pass on?
It's going to it's not difficult, but if somebody messes up, they get you, or they mess up. But it's going to even get better and better here. I think you're going to see a heck of a race.
Heck of a race. That's what we hope is in store. Tim Schaefer, fully serviced, getting ready to put that helmet on and roll back out.
And Tim's had a great run. He's been hanging right with those guys. It would be the biggest win in his career.
It surely would. And anytime you can add your name to the winners of the Knoxville Nationals, you'll go down in history, especially for the 50th.
Speaking of historic wins, Tony Bachhoven standing with a guy who won a big race earlier this year.
Well, guys, the Chili Bowl winner, Kevin Swindell, has turned into crew chief tonight. Kevin, you just making some adjustments on your dad's car. What has he said to you when he came in after the midway point in the race?
We just got to be a little better. You know, shots was good the last 5 laps, so we just, work on to get off the corner and stuff a little bit better. But I think we're all right, and, it's the best one here, and I hope we can get one of these. It's been a long time. When I stopped and thought about 83, that's a long time, so.
How important would it really be to your family? Because it has been so long since he's got this race, and he's only won it one time.
Yeah, I mean, I think this means a lot to me to see him win this. I've watched him lose a lot of these on a lot of stupid stuff right at the end, so he deserves one of these really bad.
So a little morsel of information there. They might be looking for a little forward bite.
Yeah, I'd be interested, as would everybody down there, probably what changes they did make to that car to try to make it better up off the corner.
Well, maybe we'll be able to figure out if it worked or not here after they get things restarted. And the crew chiefs seem to be given a little more information now, so we'll get back down to Dave Argerbright, who's standing with yet another crew chief, this one for the 15 car.
Ricky Warner, crew chief for Donnie Schatz. First of all, what did you guys do to the car to help your driver?
We didn't really change nothing. We're pretty good there on the stop, so we just put fresh tires on it and made a few little adjustments, and we'll see what we got at the end of it. After this stop, you just throw the dice up one more time and hope you're all right.
Now, you changed the car a little bit. What did you tell your driver during that stop? Anything?
Just that the lines we're running are good, and just to hang in there and keep doing what he's doing. It just got to go to the end to figure out who's going to win this thing.
Absolutely the right prediction right there. This thing has a lot of drama left for Ricky Warner and everybody else here at the Nationals.
Decision time is over, Brad. It is what it is now.
Well, these guys knew there was going to be a stop. They set a pretty good pace as it was, but we're going to see a really good last half of this race.
If they were holding anything back, we'll find out exactly what they had. When we come back, we'll restart it for the final laps.